May 2024, Vovchansk, Ukraine. A small robot rolls across a broken bridge carrying 440 pounds of death. Russian soldiers have no idea their world is about to explode. In 30 seconds, everything changes forever. This isn't a movie, this is a real war back in 2024. And what happens next will blow your mind. Let's go to Vovchansk first. This old city was founded in 1674 when Russia ruled it. Before the war, 17,459 people lived here. Now, only 300 people are left. Why did everyone leave? Russia has been bombing this city non-stop. They want Vovchansk because it sits only 25 miles from Kharkiv, Ukraine's second biggest city. Take Vovchansk, and Kharkiv falls next. But here's what Russia didn't expect. This destroyed city would become the birthplace of a robot revolution. May 2024. Russia launches a new attack on Kharkiv. They move fast, taking small towns before reaching Vovchansk. The 82nd Air Assault Brigade and other Ukrainian soldiers arrive to stop them. Weeks of brutal fighting follow. Ukraine pushes Russian forces back to the Vovcha River. But then Russia does something smart. They capture the PJSC Volchansky chemical plant on the river's edge. Why does this matter? The plant sits high up. From there, Russian soldiers can see everything in the city, every Ukrainian move, every attack plan. It becomes the perfect watchtower. Ukraine faces a deadly puzzle. How do you attack an enemy who sees everything you do? Ukraine tries everything first. Their air force drops guided bombs on the chemical plant. The bombs work, but Ukraine doesn't have enough of them. The attack fails. Next come the aerial drones, those flying kamikaze robots that have destroyed so many Russian targets. But even these can't break through the plant's thick walls. The explosives they carry are too small. Russian soldiers feel safe in their fortress. They have the high ground. They have strong walls. They can see every Ukrainian soldier coming. But Ukraine's engineers are about to change the game forever. Ukrainian troops start looking through wrecked cars scattered around the battlefield. Electric cars, smashed by artillery, lie everywhere. At first, soldiers take batteries and parts for their drones. Then they find something incredible inside a destroyed Toyota Mirai, a hydrogen fuel tank. This thing weighs over 440 pounds. But here's the crazy part. It's not damaged. What can 440 pounds of compressed hydrogen do? It can create an explosion bigger than Ukraine's most powerful aerial bombs. Blast waves, fireballs, even mushroom clouds. Ukraine now has a weapon that can level buildings. But there's one huge problem. How do you get a 440-pound bomb to your target? Ukraine's planes are busy fighting elsewhere. Their flying drones are too small to carry something this heavy. Even if they could, the tank is so big that Russian soldiers would spot it coming from miles away. Ukraine has a battle-ending weapon and no way to use it. Russian forces continue to control the chemical plant. Ukrainian soldiers keep dying trying to take it back. That's when someone has a brilliant idea. What about a ground drone? Ukrainian engineers study the battlefield. They spot something Russian forces missed. Metalista Street has a bridge that leads right to the chemical plant. The bridge is partly destroyed, but a small vehicle might still cross it. Best of all, trees hide the bridge from Russian watchers. The soldiers in the plant can't see this approach route. The plan forms. Strap the hydrogen tank to a ground drone. Send it across the secret bridge. Blow up the most important building in the plant, but the bridge is barely wide enough for a car. One wrong move, and the drone falls into the river below. The ground drone starts its mission. Ukrainian operators use a tiny camera on the robot to see where it's going. Slowly, carefully, the machine crawls across the broken bridge. Chunks of concrete block the path. Twisted metal sticks up everywhere. The drone has to weave between obstacles while carrying 440 pounds of explosives. One bump too hard and boom, the mission ends. Russian soldiers sit in their fortress just meters away. They have no idea death is rolling toward them. The drone reaches the other side. It moves toward the most important building in the plant, the one place Russian forces use to watch the whole city. Ukrainian forces press the button. The hydrogen tank explodes. Boom! The blast shakes the ground for miles. Fire erupts into the sky. The building doesn't just get damaged, it disappears completely. Russian ammunition stored inside starts exploding too, making the fire even bigger. Russian soldiers panic. Their only watchtower is gone. Their ammo is burning. Smoke fills the air so thick they can't see anything. But Ukraine's robot bomb did more than destroy a building. It did something even smarter. Every Russian soldier runs toward the burning building. They think Ukrainian troops will attack through the smoke and flames. They prepare for battle from the east, where the explosion happened. But Ukraine's real attack comes from the west. While Russians watch the fire, Ukrainian soldiers sneak down Sobernaya Street, a route they couldn't use before because Russian watchers would have seen them. The Russians get completely fooled. They lose their supply route. They lose their ammo. They lose their ability to see Ukrainian movements. Within hours, Ukrainian forces surround the chemical plant. Russian soldiers surrender in groups. Putin's plan to take Vovchansk fails completely. Cost of the operation? One small drone and a fuel tank from a wrecked car, July 2023. Meet Yevhen Hnatok. He's 22 years old, and he's building the future of war in his garage. His latest creation looks like a tiny tank painted in camouflage colors. But this isn't a toy. A real landmine sits on the back, ready to explode. If they see it at this distance, they won't even have time to pray, Hnatok tells reporters. His drone can hide in tall grass where Russian soldiers can't spot it. It moves quietly toward enemy positions, then blows up. The explosion can flip over armored vehicles, but Hnatok doesn't stop at mines. He builds bigger drones that carry machine guns. These can shoot targets up to 6 miles away, while the operator sits safely behind Ukrainian lines. His most ambitious project? A drone that carries a 20mm cannon. This weapon fires bullets that can punch holes through tank armor. Russia has lost over 8,000 tanks in this war. Now they face weapons they can barely see coming. How do you fight an enemy that's smaller than an RC car but carries the firepower of a cannon? Here's where it gets really interesting. Hnatok's mine-carrying drones cost just $812 each to build. That covers every part, every wire, every component. For $1 million, Ukraine can build over 1,230 of these robot killers. That same money buys exactly one Storm Shadow missile. In Kursk, Ukrainian forces use $400 drones with grenades tied on with cable ties. These cheap robots attack Russian equipment worth millions of dollars. The math is stunning. Russia spends millions on tanks. Ukraine destroys them with weapons that cost hundreds. April 2024, the 63rd Mechanized Brigade releases video footage that shocks military experts worldwide. Ukrainian ground drones crawl into Russian trenches, then explode. These robots are called Ratel-S. They move across rough ground, sometimes hiding in grass, sometimes driving in the open. Each one carries enough explosives to collapse an entire trench section. The video shows explosion after explosion. Russian defensive lines that took weeks to dig get destroyed in minutes by robots the size of shopping carts. But Ukraine doesn't stop there. September 2024, Ukraine deploys the Fury for the first time in Kursk, Russian territory that Ukraine invaded in August. This robot is different. It's built like a mini-tank with thick armor plating and a machine gun on top. Russian RPGs hit it multiple times, but it keeps moving. The Fury dodges mines, reaches Russian positions, then starts shooting. When the battle ends, Russian soldiers are either dead or running away. The robot drives home safely for repairs. The result, part of the enemy was destroyed. The rest fled, reports the 1st Detachment of the 8th Special Purpose Regiment. Ukraine's Innovation Minister Mikhailo Fedorov explains why soldiers love it. The military liked that it was easy to control and had good sight and automatic fire both day and night. Ukrainian intelligence chief Kirilo Budanov speaks at a conference in September 2024. He predicts ground drone numbers will grow immensely in the order of tens before the year ends. Why? Because people don't want to die. If you can send a drone, 10 drones, or 1 soldier, you'll always choose to send 10 drones, Budanov explains. Ukraine has lost 31,000 soldiers, according to President Volodymyr Zelensky. The New York Times reports 17,500 dead among 131,000 total casualties. Russia has lost 661,000 soldiers, according to Ukrainian counts. Ground drones offer a solution. Send robots to fight instead of people. What's it like facing these robot weapons? Russian soldiers describe the horror. You see something that looks like a remote control car racing toward your position. Your brain takes a second to understand what you're seeing, another second to realize it's carrying explosives. By then, the robot is almost on top of you. You can try to shoot it, but these things are small and fast. Even if you hit it, the explosion might kill you anyway. If you miss, it reaches your position and explodes. Either way, you're probably dead. Multiply this by dozens of drones attacking at once. Russian forces call it psychological warfare at its worst. The robot revolution isn't just changing Ukraine's war. Military forces worldwide study these tactics. What Ukraine proves in 2024 will shape battles for decades. Small countries can now build armies of cheap robots instead of training expensive soldiers. Poor nations can defeat rich ones using creativity instead of cash. The Vovchansk chemical plant attack proves the most important point. One smart engineer with salvaged parts can create weapons that destroy million-dollar fortifications. Traditional military thinking becomes obsolete when RC car-sized robots carry building-destroying explosives. Ukraine's engineers keep innovating. Every wrecked vehicle contains parts for new drones. Every successful attack teaches lessons for bigger, better robots. Current drones hide in the grass and carry mines. Future versions might carry heavier weapons, thicker armor, or smarter computers. The technology improves every month. Russia faces an impossible challenge. How do you defend against weapons you can't see until they're exploding in your face? How do you justify losing million-dollar equipment to $1,000 robots? Ground drones represent more than clever weapons. They prove that innovation beats tradition in modern warfare. Ukraine doesn't win through overwhelming firepower. It wins through superior thinking. The lessons from Vovchansk echo around the world. Military academies rewrite their textbooks. Defense contractors scramble to catch up. Every army wants robot soldiers now. But Ukraine got there first. While others were building expensive weapons, Ukrainian engineers were turning car parts into battlefield-changing technology. The robot war has begun. Ukraine started it. Russia can't stop it. Other countries are copying it. What happens when every military has armies of small, smart, deadly machines? When wars are fought by engineers in workshops instead of soldiers in trenches? The answer will determine the future of human conflict. And it all started with a hydrogen tank, a ground drone, and a bridge in Vovchansk that changed warfare forever. The revolution is here. The question isn't whether robots will change war, they already have.